Welcome back to another episode of 22 at the Lips. I'm your podcast host, always coming at you with that millennial pause in the beginning. I can't get past it. If you are new to the podcast, this is the podcast from EMS providers such as myself and potentially the guests I have on, to EMS providers and everybody in the healthcare field. Or if you are not and you are just on this journey like the rest of us for whatever reason, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. But today I have a guest, super stoked about. If you were on social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and you like the EMS content, I'm pretty certain you have stumbled upon one of the Salty Paramedics posts. And dude, before we get into anything, it's funny. It's good stuff. I can't lie. I have belly laughed at quite a few of them. But we have Cody from the Salty Paramedic. And Cody, if you want to tell the people who you are, what you stand for, what you're about, what you do, the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah. First name's Cody. I go by the Salty Paramedic because nobody would follow a guy named Firefighter Cody. I started my account a little over a year ago out of boredom, pretty much, and kind of skyrocketed to something unbelievable. Since then, I continue to make funny videos about the job, just trying to bring awareness about our jobs and what we go through, and then also bring that lighthearted and dark humor for my fellow first responders to laugh at while on the job. While making videos, I kind of started a book about mental health. I published it in January. That really took off. I'm about to start stand-up comedy now. I've got to work with a lot of amazing companies. It's just this past year has been crazy, and I'm so thankful for everybody that continues to watch my videos. I've been in some sort of fire EMS for 17 years now total. I've been with my career department for 9 years, and I love my job. I love it having this platform, and that's about it.
So as far as your content and what you post, why did you start making videos? Because like we all think of funny things that go on in the job, whatever, but like to actually sit there and form the videos, what is your creative process? Because you always come up with stuff that's like it's so not niche, but like it's so relatable. That's the word.
It's crazy. I always make fun because, a lot of firefighters, we have second jobs as far as mowing lawns or working on cars or something like that because we have a second set of skills. Well, I don't have a second set of skills. I suck at mowing yards. I suck at working on cars. And for some reason, so because of that, I was always the guy that would work a lot of overtime, which I talk about in my book, because I didn't really have a second job to rely on. But what I was good at was any time somebody at the firehouse needed a meme made of a picture or something, they could send me a picture and I automatically knew what I could Photoshop it into or write text on it. Like it's a gift. I don't mean to sound stuck up, but for some reason I can look at a picture or a clip of a video and within 10 to 30 seconds think of something to post. And that's why I seem to post so much. Like when I first started out, I was posting 5 videos a day, no problem. And, they're short videos, so they don't take up a lot of my time out of my day. So I was still able to go to work, hang out with my family. It just didn't take up a lot of time. So I did that for a while. And when my daughter was born in December of 2023, I was at home for 6 weeks with her and I was kind of bored. And I was like, I'm going to start posting these memes that I send in the group chat to an account, and the name The Salty Paramedic just came into my head. So I made an Instagram and a TikTok and a Facebook, and I started posting them, and that's the rest is history.
Do you have some videos that you really look forward to making, or is it just kind of whatever comes around?
No, I look forward to making some videos. I don't just make short ones. I make little skits every now and then as well, and I look forward to those because those require a lot more planning. And all right, I'm gonna have to get these kind of objects, and I got to work on lighting now because all my videos I record in my house. Like a lot of guys, they'll record at their station or whatever, and I just don't do that. I don't record at my place of employment, so I've kind of got to get creative with it. I'm at the point now where I'm gonna have to build like a mock ambulance or something in my backyard. That way it can look realistic. But I don't know. It works. I just recorded my front backyard, my house, and they seem to work for now. So
I gotcha. Want to move on to the book because I'm excited about it. So if you don't have a copy, you should get one. It is Don't Lose Yourself. It is very good. Highly recommend. I also just like the cover art. It's
yeah,
sick.
she did a great job.
If you tell the people, what do you cover in your book, and what made you want to write it?
So the first off, the reason I wanted to write it was my dad was a firefighter, so I grew up around the firehouse my whole life, and being around the firehouse my whole life, I saw a lot of different personalities. I saw a lot of different men and women that were struggling different ways, whether it be emotionally, uh, financially, marriage problems, and it was just interesting, especially as a little kid witnessing that and how they dealt with it. And then I was very lucky that my dad, growing up, he worked at the firehouse, but he also held down like 5 or 6 part-time jobs. He was a busy individual, but he still made time to be an excellent father, excellent husband, and he was a real big role model for me. So a lot of these lessons that I try to teach in my book that I apply in my life, I got from him. So a lot of the book I owe for him from him, teaching me, how to be an effective husband, father, and then worker at your job when you work in public service.
Very good. Um, a lot of the book, it's really good stuff, obviously, but it's not just the mental health in regards to the calls that this is what I like about it. The ones that stick with us in the patient's faces that we see in the middle of the night when we wake up in a cold sweat, that kind of thing. But it's also the frustration on those calls where you just want to look at the patient or the family and say, you really called an ambulance for this, especially at 3 a.m. Be so for
Yes.
real.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, at least, that's what contributes a lot to my burnout is just the constant mundane same thing over and over. It's not so much the high acuity calls. It's not so much the, big traumatic ones that whatever. It's not that for me. It is oh God, the calls where you ask yourself who constitutes this as an emergency. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, another big part of the book is not making this job your entire personality, hence the title. Where did the title come from?
So the title, Don't Lose Yourself. I've had this idea for the book for the past few years. It's always something I wanted to do, but I didn't really think about the title until late last year when I first started writing it. Um, it's something just like all my memes and video ideas. It just randomly popped in my head one day. Don't lose yourself. A lot of people lose themselves in this job, who they really are as a person, because they just get so caught up in it, whether it be you're one of those people that make the whole job your personality, you're there 24/7, you come home and you bring it home to your family. Um, so I'm trying to stress in this book, don't lose who you really are and who you were when you first started the job, because the job you can be in it a long time. You got 20, 25-year retirements. He's got some guys that are hanging in there 35 years. It can weigh on you. So you have to have those proper tools to be able to, handle it correctly.
I think of this job the way I view vegans. I don't need to know about, I don't need to know if you are involved in that within the first 5 minutes of meeting you.
Yes.
Um, like it's good for you that you are one, but really, like, I don't care. Then I don't know. It's kind of, I didn't grow up around this. My dad was an officer, police officer for years and years and years, and then I came along. But he still didn't take it home.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know he was one unless you really dug into who he is and stuff like that. So I kind of grew up on that aspect of it. But when I first joined, I was all in, and
Mm-hmm.
I was the person that, as cringy as it was, within 5 minutes of meeting me, you found out I was an EMT, especially as a medic, it really calmed down. But like within 5 minutes, I'm saying I'm an EMT, and then I'm giving you details of calls and like things that just nobody needs to know about. Um, and
But
I
there's a difference. Like I get, everybody when they first get on and they're super proud of their job and they're ate up with it, but it's the people that, stay their whole career like that. That's what I'm trying to talk about in the book.
I'm not going to get on the subject of EMS tattoos because I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just going to slot that one in there. But like, I don't know. I think it's also a little hard just because, like, with me moving up to Michigan recently in the past year, it's been a great move. Love it. I don't have friends up here. So, like, having to try to make friends outside of work is near impossible. And
Hmm.
especially, you want to factor in also the strong camaraderie we have with each other. We'll talk trash to each other's face, all this stuff, whatever. But then as soon as you mess with one of us, you've got the whole crowd coming after you.
Hmm.
Um, it's a weird dynamic, and especially you want to translate that to the outside world, it's
It's
not
hard.
the
It's hard to
same.
make friends with people that's not in our service after you've been in here for so long because you try to joke with them and they're like, "This dude's crazy."
You can't say that.
Yeah, yeah. What are you talking about? I was like, "That's just how we normally talk." I'm sorry.
Oopsie, wrong circle. Um, Another point that you bring up in your book, and it may be a small little point in it, but I really appreciate it, is taking the time off and planning the trips, taking the vacations. I have said it before so many times on this podcast, but you don't get back the amount of time you have earned off.
Yes.
My company does this really cool thing. It's called a My Day because we're My Michigan.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's cute. But basically it's you can have that day off and it doesn't have to be like you calling in and saying that you've thrown up 6 times or, whatever excuse that people give. People, not me. But whatever excuse that you give to call in because you don't feel like going into work, but you don't want to use sick time or you don't want to use vacation time. I forgot how often you can use it, but I think that mental health should be one of those availabilities to call out for that reason. Like, I mean, I hate to miss, and I really do hate to put that kind of strain on whoever I'm working with or whatever supervisor's on. Hate it for you, but also it's probably best if I say that I shouldn't come in, that I should not come in because it's going to be me being grumpy to everybody, me being a little toot to all the patients that don't deserve that.
Hmm.
And it
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a weak move. I don't think it's a, "Oh, you're just being a snowflake and that's what this generation is too soft." It's, "No, I'm trying to create longevity and keep an income so I don't lose my job."
Yes. Yep.
So, that's a whole soapbox in itself. But anyways, one of the quotes I want to bring up, and this one, it's a little continuation for a different one, but if you all turn to page 21, no, I'm just kidding. So it's we could be called to someone's house at any point, day or night, and their life or family's member's life could be completely decided by what we choose to do next. It's an unexplainable, no, I'm sorry. It's an unbelievable burden and feeling that I don't think anyone else can properly translate into words. And then moving on to a few pages later, you say, one of my big whys is seeing the change that a small person like me can make in a random stranger's life. And then you say, if we choose to make a difference, the change we make in the world is tenfold. And that's, dude, that's so good because, like, even though it's so cringy and cliche, we joined this job to change lives.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's for the better by the time you're done. But we do, at the core of who we are, especially the longer you've been in this field, we kind of do still crave that adrenaline. We do
Yeah.
still crave that the high moments, the feeling like you actually did save somebody's life that day. That's what you're trained to do. It's what is packed into our brains the entire process of school. But to put it in that perspective is so beautiful, man. It's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, so like, and I wrote the book and I still struggle with some things. I'm trying to be better every day. And that's one of the main reasons I wrote it for myself. But, especially we all have them, those 3 a.m. lift assists. We get woke up in the middle of the night to go help up Ethel off the floor who fell because she wanted to go fry some cornbread. Um, and, guys will get frustrated, but Ethel, she lives alone, and that could have been her only interaction for a whole week with anybody. And, we could have made her whole week just by going in there, making a few jokes with her, cutting up and helping her back into her bed. Um, you know, even me, I forget that sometimes, and I have to constantly remind myself that you know, we're there to help people no matter what, and try to be the better person.
And God, it's hard to lose sight of. It's easy to lose sight of that, but
Yeah,
important
yeah,
to
yeah.
remember the mentality.
Hmm.
Um, and so kind of a caveat to the little passage that I have 3 stars by that I super highlighted. Um, you wrote, if you cannot treat your patients compassionately, how are you ever going to take care of yourself? And then you put, so my challenge to you, because this is okay, this is another thing I like about the book. It's not just, hey, here's a little self-help guide to being a better provider in your field. It's, hey, here's what I've learned. Here's a challenge I'm going to give you. And then if you're not seeing video, I'll just explain it. There's a little blurb where you can write notes. I didn't write notes on that one because this one hit too hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I haven't got there yet. But you wrote, so my challenge to you, treat every patient like it's your first time seeing them. You don't know who you don't know how they got to that current state, what they've gone through as a person. It's not our job to judge someone, but to offer a hand, to be that light that they need when they called 911. Be a better provider and in turn a better person. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I have to constantly remind myself that every day, because you know sometimes we'll get those 4 lifts in a row in the middle of the night, and I'll start to get frustrated, and I'll have to take a deep breath. You know, remind yourself of what you just wrote in a book you published a few months ago. Stop being a hypocrite. But
We're all guilty. I say a lot of stuff on the podcast, and then
yeah,
I'll go to my next shift, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I do this job. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever done in my life. um, no, it's very refreshing to have that mindset kind of brought back to reality of, hey, like even if it's a low ball call, this is what I usually tell my partner whenever we both start getting frustrated. It may be a low ball call, but you know what? I'll take it over having to do chest compressions.
oh yeah,
Or we may be picking up the same person, but at least we get to see them often. So when things are bad, it's not just us rolling in with the patient saying, hey, it's Joe from down the street for the 5th time this week. You know, today he looks a little different. Like, let's take a step back and
hmm,
really evaluate what we're doing here.
yeah,
Um, I don't know, but we're all, if you say you're not, you're full of it. We're all guilty
hmm,
of being that provider that's salty. Um,
absolutely.
but it's a good book. Go out there, get yourself a copy. And also, if nothing else, we support our other first responders. So, like somebody doing this, stepping out of the comfort zone, doing big things, we support it, we stand for it. Um, I learned from when you were on the Alert One Medic podcast, you have
Mhm.
workshops. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I haven't got to do one yet. I'm in talks with a lot of people though, planning them hopefully, you know, starting either late this year or early next year. But it is my goal right now with the book to go around the country. Heck, I'll even go outside the country to other countries. But I want to do a 2-hour workshop about the book, break down each chapter, you know, make it interactive with the audience, and essentially just try to teach this book around the world. And you know, re- I think it would help me and my audience, but it would help me gain a new perspective because I've learned from doing videos and stuff, people around the world, um, they have different types of runs, and you know they do things differently. So it helped me get a fresh perspective as well. But this is my next goal. I really want to go around and talk about the book to different departments and everything. So hopefully it'll work out. Like I said, I've got my name in the hat for a couple places, and hopefully y'all will start seeing me around to talk about it.
I think it would be so cool because it is such an old phrase, but once you've seen one EMS agency, you've seen one EMS agency. And
Mhm.
I've worked, Michigan is now the 3rd state I've worked in. Um, they're all different in
Yeah.
even area to area, even within your own state, area to
Mhm.
area, it is so different. And I think a lot of what you say needs to be told and heard by people, especially when you bring it to such a relatable level of these are things you can do practically, even starting today to be a better provider for tomorrow. I think it's so crucial.
Absolutely.
But what would you, if you had to leave one piece of wisdom or one piece of advice, one piece of, I don't know, knowledge to people, what would be that thing for you?
Just like an everyday person or first responder?
First responders. Let's go to first responders and then
Uh,
everyday people.
um, sounds cliche, but first responders would be don't lose yourself. Because I've seen so many people, like I talked about, go through marriage problems, lose their family, um, just lose a lot because they let all of it get to their head too much and couldn't handle it in the end. So my best advice would be to talk to others. If you're struggling with anything, talk to your coworkers. Um, and I tell people this all the time. My inbox is always open. Send me a message if you're struggling, but uh, just try to leave the your organization better than when you found it.
Very good. What would be your advice to the common everyday person?
My my advice to the common everyday person is stop judging us so much. Stop judging first responders. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to go off on a little tangent a little bit. Instagram and TikTok, Instagram and TikTok, my videos, all kinds of cool comments. People, oh, this guy's hilarious. I post the same video on Facebook. I get a million hate comments of I don't want to stereotype, but it's a lot of older people and they just don't understand the humor, I guess. But they badmouth me. I got grandmas yelling at me and stuff. Just my advice for the everyday: just be open minded. We're not bad people. We just have a little twisted sense of humor.
I'm just
Sorry.
imagining
Yeah.
these little meatballs that we run these calls on because they're a little lonely, just typing away, being little keyboard warriors.
Yeah. That guy's mustache sucks. Oh, come on.
Ethel.
Yeah. Simmer down.
Well, dude, that's really all I got. If you want to add anything else.
Just y'all make sure to check out all my social media channels. Check out the book if you haven't yet. It's available on Amazon. I sell signed copies on my website. And if you're in Nashville, May 21st, Zany's at the Lab, I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy for the first time. So check that out if you're around that area on May 21st. We'll see how it goes. Cross your fingers that I don't mess it up.
Are you nervous about that? I would be so nervous.
I was very nervous in the beginning, but I'm a lot more calmer now. I've been practicing a lot, and I think I'll be fine. I think it'll be all right.
Very good. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, if that's all you got, that's all I got. I appreciate you coming on. Good luck with the book, man. It's a good one.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
And as we end every single episode, so with that.
The 22 at the Lips podcast is designed to support, not replace, the relationship that exists between a practitioner and his or her medical director. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host, guest, and not necessarily of Master Medics. The information provided during this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for your approved protocols.